Alright folks, so this is my brief comparison of the ZTE Axon 7 and the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. Both sport 5.5 inch screens, both have Qualcomm Snapdragon 820 processors, both have 4 gigabytes of RAM, but this is kind of the running theme throughout both of these. This one's more than twice as much full price for a 32 gigabyte base model, and this one is $399 for a 64 gigabyte base model. Dual SIM tray setup, no SD card slot expansion, no waterproof stuff, IPv6 waterproof. The general theme of both devices is this is a very serviceable device. If you want to save a lot of money and get something that's almost as good as a Samsung, look no further than this one, as long as you're not going to use it on Verizon, as we saw in my last video. But everything about this phone is just slightly corners cut versus this one. So the RAM used in this one is a slightly slower version. The OS seems less polished, if you can imagine that, than TouchWiz. It's sort of ZTE's Me, Move, or whatever skin. The phone itself has a slightly larger footprint. I will say the speakers are much better. It's a dual speaker setup versus this little bottom grill, but again, not waterproof. You can't really do that with waterproofing, although I guess I'm wrong because the new Apple just did, but the iPhone 7, but it's not the same level of waterproofing. So going down here, you can see that this has a USB Type-C. That isn't a future proofing advantage versus this one. It comes with an adapter and built-in headphones. You know, the device is ever so slightly thicker than the Samsung, just ever so slightly, but it does feel a little bit heftier. It's also slightly longer, just very ever so slightly. I've lined them both up at the edge of this. Sorry for the shaky camera today. Oh, now I gotta do this. Line them both up at the edge of this. Hello. Well, I had, but this one anyway is a slightly longer and slightly wider due to the curved screen of this guy. So the footprint overall feels a little bigger in the hand. I do like the rear setup. But speaking of what's on the rear, the camera is slightly worse than the Samsung one in basically every way. It's higher megapixel, but it's slower to focus, and you don't have that beautiful double tap home to launch the camera. The UI is a bit clunky. What else can I say? Feature-wise, these devices, I've been using this one longer, but you know, Samsung packs everything in the kitchen sink in theirs. There's some kitschy features, like if you're an audiophile, this one has higher bitrate audio available to you. It's less shiny, but it's more, I don't know, it feels good in the hand. It feels kind of Nexus-y, but the screen itself on the front, it does have a nice screen, and if I weren't comparing it to the Galaxy Note 7, I'd say it floats above, but the viewing angles are slightly less great, and the brightness is not quite comparable, although you'd be hard-pressed to say that this is a bad screen. It's just, you know, if you're comparing these two devices, the Samsung is slightly higher quality. Also, in terms of internal storage, this is larger, but this is faster. UFS 2.0 does make a difference with the overall quality of the speed of everything that launches. Another thing I'll show you is just the camera. First of all, you can't just double tap the home to launch it, but I've just become accustomed to that personally. So if I force this to the front, yeah, it's just a little harder to handle. And I do know that the Samsung has a wider angle front-facing camera lens. It looks like there's some cropping going on to make this full screen, but this can get more into a picture, as you can see, than this one. And again, the UI is a bit confusing and clunky. I don't know why you need a preview of a preview, but regardless, you know, this is a great deal for $399 if you can get it to ship to you, and you're on AT&T or T-Mobile in the United States, or on a GSM carrier internationally. It's going to perform really well. It does suffer from a lot of the same bloat as these guys, and there's some kind of weird account management stuff that's in here that makes me trust it just a tiny bit less in terms of giving it my login credentials and having it monitor me than a Samsung device. But there are some advantages like the USB-C port. I'm kind of pissed that this nerfed the Verizon support, so I'm still dealing with that. And I will say that, you know, if you want a no-compromise phone, definitely the Galaxy S7 Edge is the best one available, especially given the Note 7's issues with exploding batteries, which I dealt with myself and had to return mine. But if you want the best value on a mobile phone right now at the moment, with the Snapdragon 820 being the latest processor that's out, you're going to want to go with the ZTE Axon 7. It's a great value. A lot of the deals for pre-orders are shipping with things like headphones installed and in the box, as you saw in the unboxing. You can see that there's all sorts of extra goodies you get. You get a free case as well, TPU case, so it's a great value. But I, you know, just in terms of the quality, I would say the Galaxy S7 Edge is better in just about every way, including battery life. By the way, non-trivial, 3,600, 3,250 milliamp hours of battery, and the footprint feels better in the hand due to the curved screen, although I don't use any of the curved screen features. The killer app to me is the camera. Yes, I am filming with an iPad, don't hate, don't hate. What is that? There's my dog. Why am I showing off the Samsung? This is the new thing here. But they're practically the same internals-wise, and at the risk of repeating myself, you know, I have to recommend this for value and this for just no compromise anything right now at the moment. There you have it. Make your decision and let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe and like, and I'll try to get some non-shaky cam footage going on for my next videos in the near future. Thanks for watching.